Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into the overthinking mind. We're going to explore why it happens and how, get this, it might actually be a sign that you have a high-performance engine for a brain.
Okay, let's just kick things off with a scenario. You ever get a text that just says something like, okay, cool, and then, bam, for the next hour, you're a full-on detective, right? Cross-referencing past conversations, analyzing punctuation. If that sounds even remotely familiar, then you are in the right place.
So, for the next few minutes, we're going to try to flip this whole idea on its head. What if that tendency to overanalyze everything isn't a bug in your system? What if it's not a flaw, but a core feature of how your mind is built to process the world?
All right, first up, the overthinking brain. To really understand this feature, we have to pop the hood and see what's actually going on in there. Because, and this is key, this isn't just about thinking more, it's about thinking differently.
So the reason you can't just let it go is because your brain is basically wired for high-resolution capture. Any moment that's even slightly emotionally charged gets stored with incredible, vivid detail. This creates this huge, rich internal world, but it also means you have this massive library you can't help but constantly search through.
Now, this whole process of intense internal observation, well, it actually has a name. And it is absolutely central to understanding what makes an overactive mind tick.
So the crucial point here is that this isn't just random worrying. Metacognition is your brain turning its incredibly powerful analytical lens on itself. It's this really sophisticated process of self-monitoring that honestly can be a total superpower. But yeah, it can also feel like a trap.
And here's exactly how that trap works in practice. So the event itself is minor. The initial thought is just a simple question. But then metacognition kicks in, and suddenly you're not just analyzing the text anymore, you're analyzing your analysis of the text. And that, right there, is the spiral. You know, all this intense internal processing doesn't just stay cooped up in your head. It fundamentally shapes how you build your entire social world.
Let's look at this in terms of simple energy. For a highly active mind, small talk isn't just boring, it is exhausting. It's draining because it offers no complex data for your brain to actually chew on. Deep conversation, though, it takes more effort, but it's like high-octane fuel. It gives your brain the layered, abstract stuff it's built to handle.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head. It's not an antisocial thing, it's a cognitive thing. Your brain is a high-performance engine, and it just sputters and stalls if you try to run it on low-grade fuel. It's as simple as that.
So this cognitive need for depth naturally leads to a really deliberate social structure. You know, having a small inner circle isn't a sign of unpopularity, it's an energy-saving strategy. It's like a firewall that protects your resources so you can spend them on the deep, meaningful connections that actually fuel you.
Okay, next up, let's get into how many of these behaviors we link with an overactive mind aren't just personality quirks. They're actually highly intelligent adaptations, and they were often learned a long, long time ago.
Think about it. A mind that observes and analyzes absolutely everything is going to learn really fast what it needs to do to feel safe. So if support wasn't reliable, you logically learned extreme self-reliance. If your value is tied to fixing things for others, you became the strong friend. If keeping the peace was the most important thing, you learned to apologize for everything. See, these aren't flaws, they were logical solutions.
And that's the absolute key here. We have to see these traits for what they really are, survival strategies. They are solid evidence of a mind that was smart enough to figure out the rules of its environment and adapt perfectly to them.
So let's pull all these threads together. When you combine that innate cognitive wiring with these learned survival strategies, you don't get a flawed personality. You get something else entirely.
First off, let's just completely discard the idea that there's something wrong here, something that needs to be fixed or debugged. That is just the wrong framework. This is the reframe. Your mind is like a specialized operating system. It's not a standard out-of-the-box model. It's more like a custom rig, incredibly powerful, built for complex tasks, but it functions by a completely different set of rules. So think about its core features. You've got high-level metacognition, a real preference for depth, that vivid emotional memory, advanced pattern recognition, and powerful adaptive strategies. The very things that can sometimes feel like a burden, they're actually the source of your system's strength. So we want to leave you with this one thought. You might have spent years, maybe your whole life, trying to force your specialized operating system to act like a standard one. But what becomes possible, what happens when you stop fighting your mind
and you finally start using it for what it was truly designed to do.